Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. It's about 8:20 in the morning here in CHUMPON. Motorbike rental, $300. $300. 300 baht a day. 1,000 baht deposit. And, so yesterday I did a live stream on Facebook. And one of the things that I mentioned is the high security of the gate that we have here at the resort. And, but it was towards the end of the video. And it was too dark to see it. So I wanted to show it to you because in case you wondered where all of the woodwork went when Gilligan's Island was canceled, went here. Dorman, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I am live. I know that sometimes it's... Hold on. Wait. Let me do my... There we go. Let me put all my clothes on. Now, where I'm walking is pretty much where I did my sort of impromptu live stream last night. Hey, Mr. Mitch, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Patrick. Aloha. Where I'm walking right now, live, on the gimbal, is where I walked yesterday with my Facebook live stream. So, I have the belief then that what will happen is I will be able to do this on the same path and I won't lose any signal. And, yeah, Dorman, Patrick, that's a good question for him. Dorman, thanks for sharing the process, actually, with the guys with us here at the Cool Kids Table. And I also saw your comment on, I can't remember whose channel it was. Oh, it's Thai Things. I think that's where you shared. And sadly, there was some bozo that responded, didn't read your whole question. That's okay. Precious child of God. That's what we call those people, precious children of God. Hey, whoever thumbed up, thank you very much. I appreciate it. 6 of you guys hanging out with me. I'm honored. Let me tilt this a little. There we go. There we go. You know what I was wondering is, you see all this ivy, right, behind me? I really wanted to do like a time lapse, but I didn't have, it was raining last night on and off. And so I didn't have a waterproof camera, and the overhang where I wasn't shedding light basically enough on the beach at night for sure. But I was also curious. I'm like, because when I was walking here yesterday, I don't remember any of these flowers. How do I do this? There we go. Hey, Jim. I don't remember any of these flowers. And so therefore, my thought just now was, hey, I wonder, like, I mean, does this stuff grow like a foot overnight, or does it... That's a pretty nice looking sky, isn't it? Does it, how far does it grow? Like over the course of an evening, right? Or a day even. Now, when I was going live on Facebook, go more hike, what's on the agenda? So, hey Jay, good to see you, man. Sorry if I missed you guys. There we go. I keep saying non-Thai with special arrangement at CAT, but some of the media is saying the elite visa at the end of it. Hey, Sarah. Wait, Sarah Reed, as in Sarah Reed from Sarah Reed, who's vugging amazing? That was a woman that I got to work with, and we were doing some pretty good stuff globally, weren't we? Anyway, if that's the Sarah, hi. If not, hi, Sarah. Welcome to the channel. I know someone who has the same name as you. Hopefully you're as cool as she is. So greetings and aloha. It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. And for today, I planned this out last night. So where I am right now, first of all, I gave you the wrong, basically, phonetic spelling of it. I mean, because it's, I believe you pronounce it Saidi. The one from, oh, hey, right on, very cool. That's where I grew up, guys. Looking on the map, it seems as though it's spelled S-A-I-R-E-E, and I believe when I spelled it yesterday when I was walking around, I said S-I-R-I. But here's the interesting thing. Where I am right now, like I can't, it won't label this beach anything. But the label of that beach, side E, is south of here, which is the direction I'm going. And so the plan after this live stream is, because I started out the live stream, I started out with my phone at 95%, and then I set up the live stream, got my tripod there, put my shoes on, and I looked up and it was at 90%. So if that's any indication of how fast my battery is being depleted on this phone, then, well, this may be in one of my shortest live streams of all time. I want to get on the motorbike after this and head south down to what is Sairee Beach. And after hanging out there a bit, because as you can see, the sky, while, you know, there's some overcast and stuff, again, if you take a look there, it's quite nice, really. And, you know, I mean, look, if you've ever been over here and spent any significant time outdoors, a little cloud cover in Thailand, it goes a long way, as they say. It really helps with the ambient temperature, although to be fair, once the ambient temperature gets below about 80, I'm like, okay, plane tickets, where are we going next? It's not really a possibility right now, but nonetheless, you get it. So after I go to that beach, I'm going to kind of cruise around a little bit. Not too far on the motorbike, but CHUMPON is a very large province, and so, well, it's not, okay, it's bigger than just a little city, okay? And so I thought I would just cruise down the coast a little bit more and check out some more beaches, because as I mentioned yesterday in the live stream on Facebook, I can't, until you mentioned it, said Beirut. So something I assume tragic happened in Beirut. Like, I mean, I'm not blaming you for this, but like most people, I assume that the impetus for discussing global news is because of a tragedy, not because of something wonderful that happened. That's one of the reasons I don't watch the news, because, I mean, that's the default setting. And again, this isn't, I'm not attacking him, but isn't it, that's the default setting, isn't it, guys? When someone says to you, hey, did you hear what happened? And you're not expecting good news, right? And I guess that's a bummer. So here's the other thing too, and I'm going to walk through, hold on, let me get to a few of these. They seem quite long. Yeah, I just saw on the news alert about an hour ago, but I think it happened earlier today. We would like to inform you that the government, through the Center of COVID-19, has approved, yeah, your elite visa, which is cool. Aloha, Mango. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks a lot for coming by. Driving home from the office, won't be able to chat, but just listen into your live to you live the dream. Absolutely. I will describe that to the best of my ability. How's that? So the cup holder says hi. Hello, cup holder. I see you're working out. You're on the treadmill. Are you going to do another one of those 60-second light speed streams? Having trouble finding information on where to get a fit to fly certificate and rapid test in my area. I'm building a checklist of things I will need. Mike's recommendation. Yeah, I mean, and well, here's my next recommendation. Please share that with the Cool Kids table once it comes up. We can like put a Google Doc together if you want. That would be awesome, dude, because I mean, dude, that's stuff that people would buy. I mean, I'm not going to sell it for like $9.99 so you get on my list, but I think it would be really neat. Yeah, it was a big tragedy. Ah, crap. Hey, Daniel. Good to see you, buddy. Nice problem, Mike. Which beach today? Indeed, who? Is it who? I assume it's Hugh. Is that how you pronounce it? But I don't. Anyway, so let me flip this around because... Hello, Patrick from Dallas. So this amount of land right now is significantly more than what was here yesterday when I did my Facebook live stream. When I did my Facebook live stream, I came out and there was about... like if you were to say the width of my fingers, it was about like this much rocks. And I'm walking over there, and of course I'm, you know, incredibly proud of myself. because of my astute ability to know the tidal changes in any community, really, growing up on the water. And I walked all the way down there to the end of the... Damo was on the stream, actually. If you guys remember him from the live stream. And as was Dave. I walked all the way down to the trees and said, oh, yeah, this is really cool. And then I walked all the way back, and none of this land was here. The tide had come in, and that yielded the ability to unintentionally wash my shoes with seawater. So they dried out as best they possibly could in a community that is hot and humid. And so, God, you know what? I mean, I know I'm talking, and I know, of course, I'm loud, but this is pretty cool. Hello. Well, the good news is they're not fishing, because at least my belief is that when you walk past people that are fishing, potentially you disturb and or remove the ability for them to catch as much fish. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that, and so therefore I would be much more concerned about my speech. Certainly the volume of it. Any other Westerners there? No. Once again, this is Only Child Resort. I'm the only person there. And I was absolutely the only person on the beach last night. Now, look, here's the thing, too, is that it's raining. And, you know, again, like I said yesterday, I mean, this is low season, right? It just happens to be no season because of COVID. But yeah, this is a significant delta in in real estate, because like I could not walk out to there, and I could absolutely not walk all the way out to that island there. And the good news is that I do know that if I walk all the way out there and then walk all the way back, the tide, if coming in, the time it'll take me to walk all the way out there and then walk back is approximately less than 30 minutes. And in that time, I don't believe the water will get high enough, because yesterday it only got up about an inch, which was good. I didn't have to go all the way into my sneakers. So let's see. Asian who? Small slang joke. Who to what? Got it. Makes sense. Indeed, Patrick. Only Child Beach. Who's on first? There you go. Haha. Yeah, they're clam. Well, I don't actually know exactly. I mean, I don't want to bother them any more than I already, I'm sure, have. Can always smell till low tide before you get to the harbor. Yeah, absolutely. It does look like Mars, dude. I mean, it is just like so bizarre out here. It's like the rocks at, I'm not Haleakala, but on the big island, you know, where the volcano was. One place that is 25-minute turnaround, the COVID testing. Oh, there you go. Nice. Oh, good to know, Dorman. That's cool, man. Yeah, you know, it's funny. Sarah, do you still live in Hingham? I usually come back in July and August when the weather is like it is in Thailand. Hot and humid. Never that early sounding. Something to do with notifications. Ah, okay. They would dredge the harbor because, you know, the soil and that sort of thing, the mud, effectively, would come in with the incoming and, you know, outgoing tide. It would move around. And so they would dredge the channel. But the interesting part about where we live is when it's high tide, it looks really gorgeous. When it's low tide, there's a lot of mud. But if I hadn't mentioned it before, you know, I've said before I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So that statement was available to me, thank God, when I was 14, 15. I had a little Boston whaler, and me and my buddies used to go out in my Boston whaler in around the Boston Harbor Islands, and that was really awesome. I really wish I had a whaler somewhere here, or I could get one rather. I just absolutely love those boats. And you know, with water like today, I mean, my God, you could almost go across the Gulf of Thailand in a 14 or 15 foot Boston whaler. A Montauk. It's like glass here. Yeah, I wasn't really even able to walk here yesterday. So I think I'm really good. I think I've got to probably, well, I tell you what, I think I probably have enough time to walk all the way out to the island over there. And then my battery will probably get close to dead. But what I did was at night, like probably most of you guys, I charged up my battery pack and my other phone and all that. So for the most part, when I'm cruising around during the day, I made a video yesterday. I got to upload that. It was just like this little viewpoint that I was cruising around to. And then they redid the harbor last winter and added a new bathhouse. Oh, you know what? That's right. I was home last summer, actually. Gracie and I came back, and it was great showing it to her. One of my favorite places, Sarah, is World's End. And if the weather permits it, my parents have an annual pass there. And so, and they don't go. I'm just really honored. They keep it basically for me. But when I'm there, I usually go walk through it with my dad. But I could literally go to World's End every single day and walk around there in the summer. And what's funny, I'm seeing a whole lot of well, maybe you can't pick it up from my lens, but while there is physical land connecting me to that little island over there, it's looking like a lot of green, which to me says slippery and gooey and not enjoyable. But so what I'll do is I'll walk through Mars here and check a little bit of that stuff out, because this is kind of interesting. So Gracie and I went back, but was funny, like I said, I could walk at World's End every single day. And for you guys literally every single other person that doesn't know what I'm talking about, World's End is simply the name of a giant park that is maintained by an organization in Massachusetts referred to as the Trustees of Reservations, and they maintain various parks around the area in Massachusetts, as well as other states, I believe, but certainly Massachusetts. I could be wrong. It might only be Massachusetts, but it's getting a little dense out here, so I guess I could walk around this side. But what's funny is, so I go there with Gracie and I show her, and I'm like, oh yeah, I grew up here. I used to love coming here as a kid, and I love coming here now. And every summer when I come home, I come here almost every day, and then maybe I'll drive over to the beach later or whatever. She's like, oh yeah, this is great. It's really nice. She's taking pictures, selfies. We're talking the whole time, having a great time. Sat down on one of the benches, overlooked the water there that is between a couple of islands. For Sarah, that's Bumpkin and Hull. And so we get up the next morning, and she's like, oh, what are we going to do today? I'm like, oh, we're going to cruise over to World's End. And she's like, didn't we already go there? And I'm like, oh, right, yeah. You're not me. So she wasn't really, but the other thing too, you may not know this, Sarah, but some of the guys on the channel know that Gracie made a comment about this guy that her sister was dating, because her sister's like, she's dating a guy who's from Germany, right? And so, Gracie's like, oh, what are you guys doing? She's like, well, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. Oh, that's really fun. Yeah, but he likes to walk everywhere. And Gracie responds, she goes, oh yeah, white people like to walk. So anyway, I'm a walking white guy. Know it well. I also grew up in the water. That's really cool. Thanks for that, Stock. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's really cool. World's End, is that an amusement park? Yeah, absolutely. No, it's just Google World's End. Massachusetts really be the easiest thing. If you Google World's End, you might come up with like some crazy movie like with vampires or zombies in it. But if you get World's End, you may or may not know how to spell Hingham, but you definitely know how to spell Massachusetts. And Florida, Alabama. Good to see you. Yes, indeed. Good to see you here. Hike. Well, the good news is that I made it out further than I did yesterday. And again, a lot of this was not showing. And it's also, it's hard packed. There's no mud. There's sand in between the rocks and the shells and everything. But I'm not sinking. So so far so good. So after I go to the beach later today, or after I go to another beach, which is basically just, it's going to be around this corner thingy here, and then kind of in from those little islands over there. And that's another reason why I'd just love to have my own, you know, little boat or something like that. You know, nothing massive. I mean, I don't know if I'd want anything over like 24 feet, but, and to be fair, around here, I'd probably have 2 engines just in case. I'm kind of a 2 guy. We have the saying in IT, which is 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And I pretty much agree with that. So, even though outboard engines today are ridiculously reliable, Honda and Yamaha, Suzuki too, God, they make killer engines, man. So anyway, that would be fun for me. Once I go to that beach, from there, I will likely go back to an area that we'll refer to as inland. But basically, I'll go back to CHUMPON, the little downtown area of CHUMPON. The main responsibility I have today for that is to return my motorbike before approximately 2 p.m. But I'm going to do it actually much earlier than that. I'm going to probably return it around 12:30 or 1, and then from there, from where the rental place is. Do they call working on a retirement visa if a person were to pick up any litter? Yeah. Well, look, here's the deal. If you're doing any of the jobs that are designated as Thai only, and you bother or give basically a Thai person some reason to really go out of their way, because it's not just like they call 1-800-report a foreigner. It actually takes some effort to report a foreigner doing a job that he shouldn't be, as they presume that he or she is without a business visa and certainly without a work permit. So yes, they absolutely can report you, and that is why there is the volunteer visa, because one could argue if you're truly going to pick up trash, then you would get a volunteer visa. And you may or may not have been joking, but when I was in Prachuap Khiri one morning walking on the beach, there were a whole bunch of folks picking up trash on the beach. And it was actually a nonprofit organization, a Thai nonprofit organization. And there were a few Caucasian folks that I'll refer to as, you know, foreigners by assumption. And they were helping out. And, you know, let me tell you that the Thais were more than grateful to have them help clean up the beach. So here's the best advice I can give anyone coming over here, that at any given time you may sort of turn your head sideways like a young puppy and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I wonder if I'm doing something incorrect. If you think that, you are. But here's the greatest advice of life of all time. Don't be a jerk. Because if you can, like, not be a jerk, then pretty much no Thai is going to be like, I mean, unless you, like, start, you know, unless you set up a motorbike repair shop next to the guy that's got a motorbike repair shop. That's obnoxious, but anyway, grew up in the Seaway. I think we bought off Aunt Fran. I'm trying to remember. My Thai ex-girlfriend despised walking. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, right? I'm like, oh, we can just walk. And Gracie's like, no, we'll take a trike. I'm like, what are you well, first of all, I can't fit in a trike. She can. Oh, thanks for the spelling of that, Sarah. I appreciate that. Anyway, I don't know if I saw it. I know I asked you. I apologize, Sarah, if you typed it in and I didn't see it. Are you still living in Hingham? And if so, I don't know if you know where I grew up, just right across from Prospect Street, Westmoreland. So anyway, once I go back to return the motorbike, then I'm going to show you a picture of my sunglasses hanging from my shirt, and then I'm going to walk down towards the train station. But before I get there, I'm going to take a left And I'm going to walk over to, I believe the name of the resort is Chili Cha. I believe it is, again, the phonetical spelling of the Thai word, Chilicha. I believe that's how you say it. Anyway, it's like this hotel, you know, they call it a resort, whatever. But it is also, it's within walking distance to the motorbike place, but it's also within walking distance to the train station. And so tomorrow, the reason I'm staying there is I also want to kind of check out like the CHUMPON downtown. They have a night market and stuff. I don't know if it's every night. It might not be tonight, but regardless, I'm going to stay there so that I can walk over to the train station at 7 a.m., the CHUMPON railway station, and catch the, I think it's the 245, but regardless, it's the train that will show up there at 7 in the morning that will get me to an area that again, it's the you know, the phonetical sort of spelling using Western characters versus the Thai characters, right? I've seen it written Pythio, P-I-T-H-I-O, and the name of this train station is P-I-T-H-I-U. The train ticket is going to cost me 6 baht, so 20 cents, and it'll take about a half an hour for me to get to this station. And then from there, according to Google Maps, it is approximately 12-minute ride to the airport, the CHUMPON airport. And my flight doesn't leave until 12:50. And so basically, all I got to do is, you know, my train, it's not going to be on time. But the train will get me to Pythio, I'm guessing no later than 9 a.m. and then a less than 30-minute ride from the train station to the airport, I'm guessing on motorbike taxi. If you've ever been to a Thai airport when you get out, well, depending upon how busy it is. I mean, if you get out in one in Bangkok, there's, you know, 300 of them. But even in the small places, I usually would see 1 or 2 motorbike taxi drivers just waiting there, and usually they'll just, you know, pick up the Thais and drive them home, you know, 20, 30, 40 baht. But I'm definitely confident that I will find one, or I will find a solution, or if I have to, I'll start walking towards the airport, and then I'm quite certain along the way there will be someone who, for a very reasonable amount of cost, will transport me. Now, so I don't know whether it's tidal or whether it's time of day, but the amount of participants here has increased. That's a pretty cool hat. Gracie and I, when we were in Vietnam, you know, seen it in movies certainly, but you know, the sort of the cone hats, right? That they, Hike's not a big fan of motorbike taxis. I scare. I scare. No like mine. I get it. Trust me. I mean, I prefer to be the guy driving it with no one on the back. Well, unless it's Gracie, because my luggage weighs more than Gracie. But yeah, I mean, it's the good news about Bangkok motorbike taxis is the fact that, you know, for the most part, there's so much darn traffic, you really can't go fast anyway. But around here on these side roads, you know, he can probably get up to like about 60 or 70 kilometers. Now, the speed limit in most places I've noticed is like around 60 kilometers an hour. And what's interesting, I usually max out motorbiking at about 50 kilometers an hour. I just am like, well, there's 2 reasons. One is that, you know, I'm not an expert motorbike rider. I'm a very good one, but I'm not an expert. And so I do need to take into account the fact that should I need to swerve and avoid something, I'm okay at that. But it is not something I can, you know, do blindfolded, as they say. So like, you know, Dave, for example, he's been on motorbikes since, I don't know, I think he was like 13 or 14. But the point is that I keep it under about 50 kilometers an hour. And, but when I would get going around, I mean, I would definitely pass Thais cruising around. And so it seems like around here on CHUMPON, especially on the streets that are just like, you know, 1 lane in each direction, they're not, you know, they're not going really fast. I mean, a lot of them are just going like, you know, 40, 50, that sort of thing. So anyway, that is the plan for tomorrow morning. And so today I'm just simply front loading all of the things ahead of that. And that's what I'm going to do. Tiger from Melbourne died in a car accident while on a holiday in Thailand. Mentally preparing for the gratitude attack you will likely have when Gracie is able to travel. Oh, I don't even know. Patrick, let me tell you. It is definitely whoops, sorry guys. Darn it. Oh, you live by the middle school. Very nice. South Junior? Oh, right, because, yeah, I guess there's only one junior high now, right? I forgot about that. You don't happen to be living in that house where they have the wicked cool fresh vegetables out in front of it in the summer when you're driving by, do you? Like that's like right at the entrance to the middle school. God, it sounds so weird saying middle school, you know, because where I grew up it was junior high. But I still refer to Costco as Price Club sometimes though too, so maybe I need to get with the program. Oh, let me zoom in on this because I was really curious what this thing is. Maybe you guys know. Mike, we'd be able to tell you if your damn camera wouldn't go out of focus. Oh, for the love of God. Oh, my Buddha. Okay, there we go. This thing right here, and I don't have a really elegant zoom on this camera, but that's as far as I can go. Yes, as far as I can go. Looks interesting, right? And I mean, it's not an oil drilling rig. That is long gone, new homeowner. Bummer. So the vegetables aren't there anymore, huh? Traffic accidents is exactly what I'm saying. I like the tuk-tuk. Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, you can sit down and, you know, it's got the two wheels and back. That's absolutely, totally cool. They have that. They have this in the Philippines, too, which is cool. Whoop, there we go. Are you about to say you used to walk to school uphill both ways? Yeah, exactly. No, actually, when I went to junior high, I used to ride my unicycle both ways. And I just shook my head because I just flashed on something. I used to ride this unicycle, and it was about a mile, maybe less, from my house to junior high. In the snow, absolutely. I would do it in the snow. And the most common question / statement I would get because I mean, other people would be walking to school, right? And I would pass them. And after a while, you know, they kind of got used to me. And, you know, then my buddies would like try and stand in front of the sidewalk and not let me pass to be a jerk. Those are probably the people that if they were to pick up trash on the side of the beach, they would get thrown in jail. So, important safety tip. The most common thing they would ask and say is, "Oh my God, can you really ride that thing?" as I'm riding past them. I'm not joking. And it was fun. I mean, I dug it. The reason I got my unicycle is because I got chicken. We were talking about this the other day. I got chicken pox right after the 5th grade, right? The summer after 5th grade. And we were all at a pool party. I want to say David Paul. I can't remember. I think his last name was Paul, but I can't remember his first name. Anyway, Mr. Biscardi's class. We were over there and at the pool, and then afterwards I got home and I started itching or something, and so there I had it. I had the chicken pox, and who knows whether I caught it or whatever. From one of the kids there or something like that. Anyway, so I got that, and I had to, you know, stay home, right? I had to quarantine for 14 days. Pretty much an expert at it ever since I was 12 years old. The boredom that set in, and it was in the summer too, right? So it's kind of like, I mean, when you're in New England and you're off school, which is, of course, most kids, when they're off school, they're like, okay, great, I get the summer, I can play with my buddies and I don't have to do homework. But when you live in New England, those are the only good months of weather you get all year. So even a week indoors over the summer is, well, at least when I was a kid, a week wasted, right? And so anyway, I'm like, I got to do something, right? And so I saved up some money, which was not much. It was like $100, I think. It was a lot back then for me. And And I bought a unicycle, and then I learned how to ride it in the basement. And then one of my friends, she was 3 years older than me, Stacy. She just lived down the street, and she was a gymnast. She was actually an excellent gymnast, like in high school and stuff, junior high, high school. And so I was so bummed. She just like grabs the unicycle and like kind of gets up on it like this and like starts riding. I'm like, dude, I spent like the last week like with a piece of wood behind the wheel so you could like try and get up on it. But I know how to ride a unicycle. It's fun, actually. It was one of the things that I sold last, if you will, before I moved over here. Sold it on Craigslist, and some guy from like New Orleans or whatever bought it for a buddy of his that lived in San Diego. He says, I'll give you this amount of money for it, but you got to deliver it, or not, you don't have to, but will you deliver it down to Imperial Beach? And I'm like, well, actually, as it turns out, that's very convenient for me here in San Diego because it's literally only about 6 or 7 miles away. And I go down there for coffee at Katie's Cafe anyway. So I dropped off the unicycle and knocked on the door. And the funny thing is the guy, I said, hey, are you? I can't remember his name. And he goes, oh my God, he really did it. Because obviously his buddy's like, hey, look, there's some random guy's going to show up on your doorstep with a unicycle. You know, the surprise is spoiled, but don't shoot him in the face. So I gave the guy the unicycle. He said, oh my God, he really did. I said, yeah, I actually, oh, and the other thing too is that about a week later, I found the manual, the owner's manual for it, right? Like, I don't know if it instructed you on how to ride it. Maybe it was just like the care and oiling of the bearings or fixing of the seat or something, I don't know. Anyways, I found the original owner's manual, Schwinn, and drove it back down, and then just did kind of randomly show up at the guy's door. Say, hey, by the way, I got the manual for it. He's like, oh my God, this is so cool. So anyway, one of the final things I got rid of because, unfortunately, that does not fit in the overhead bin. But it's neat being over here, you know, and you see someone riding a unicycle, and of course, the likelihood of other people around them being able to ride it is low. And so it's neat to be able to say, hey, can I ride that? They're like, no, you're a farang. You don't know how to do that. You've never been in this circus. 20 of you watching at 11 thumbs up. Thank you so very much. Maybe gas bait. Yeah, maybe gas and bait. That would sort of make sense, right? It being there, like they all go out. And regardless of the tide, whether it's even like low tide, they can still sort of, you know, get out there. And bait too. Yeah, I've seen those. That makes sense. The brakes are lousy, Ron. I never got good brakes on that. I had a 24-inch wheel, which was really beneficial. A lot of them were 20-inch, and that extra diameter really makes long distance travel. And of course, long distance travel in a unicycle is pretty much anything over about a mile, even a half mile sometimes. Depends on how much you weigh and how much extra you paid for extra padding in the seat. So, what does 5th grade mean? Oh, Met Tech, good question. 12 years old. The 5th year of elementary school is what we refer to it. Elementary school for us in the United States is kindergarten, and then 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So a lot of people will refer to that as K through 6, the way that we refer to sort of everything prior to undergrad. Hey, Robert, good to see you, buddy. Is K through 12. And so K through 12 is effectively elementary school, middle school, high school. And then higher education. I said this to another person the other day, and they were like, what's higher education? I was like, oh my God, I guess you just don't call it that over here or something like that. Higher education is university, college. So there you go. So yeah, 12 years old, and learned how to ride a unicycle. The cool thing that I'm looking forward to, because here's the thing, I mean, pretty much in Thailand, like in almost every city, community, even if it's like really small, you can get from point A to point B, and especially in an area like this, because if you don't know, CHUMPON is CHUMPON. One of the things it's sort of known for is this is where you come to then get on a ferry and go to, you know, those islands up there, right? Koh Tao is one of them. And so there's all those sort of like, you know, tour groups, right? And they have the minivans that will take you from the airport to their offices, or directly to a pier that then they have a chartered boat that will take you out, right? And that will be something that I'll likely do at a later time. And I think, as I mentioned in another video, we'll do that with Gracie. For me, it was 17, Met Tech, 11, 10 years old typically. For 5th grade? Well, how old are you? Wait, was I 10? I'm trying to think. How old are you in 1st grade in the United States? 6 years old, right? 5 years? 5 years old. Maybe I was 12 in 6th grade. I was. That's true. So I was 11. I was born like in the middle of the year. So I probably started 5th grade at 10 and then ended at 11. There you go. That makes sense. I don't know why I thought I was 12. Anyway, I don't remember a whole lot of my childhood other than the fact that it was spectacular. So anyway, 700 tons of ammunition nitrate is what blew up. Oh, are you guys talking about Beirut or something like that? 6 years old in 1st grade. Thank you, Patrick. And so, to my point of transportation, right? So I can take my motorbike back to the place where I rented it. And they will, if I'm the only person, they will take me to the airport at any time I want for approximately 1,000, 1,200 baht, something like that. Meaning I'm basically renting the whole van. Or, if I want to do it at either 10:30 in the morning or I want to do it at 4:30 in the afternoon, I believe, for the scheduled buses, then I can pay 150 baht. And the bus will either have me in it, me and other people, or it'll be completely filled. And they may or may not pick up people along the way. Usually they don't. But if they do see someone waving their arms and they have the ability to basically generate 100 or 150 baht in revenue, then they'll take advantage of that. So what's interesting is I'm in like a fishing village kind of thing, but I don't know what those bamboo things are set up for. That's a beautiful boat. I don't know what this rope is with all that bamboo that goes out there. But clearly that dog isn't barking because it just barks at random. It's barking because there's some person speaking a very bizarre language walking towards my land. So I will go the other way. I don't know what kind of fishing pots those are. Nets, cages. I don't believe, the only kind I know of is lobster, right? Lobster pots. And I had 2 of those when I was growing up, Sarah. I don't know if you knew that or not. That's kind of cool. I put them out near Paddocks Island. And got to the point one season, actually. The first season, for some reason, I got none, I don't think. And then the second season, I got so many lobsters that I was just like, oh my God, I'm sick of lobster. Who says that in New England? But I do like lobster. A lot. I don't not like crab. It just does not taste good to me. And it is very easy and common to get fried rice with crab in Thailand. And it's like a treat somehow for many people. And I'm just like, no, I totally don't want that. Gracie will usually order it. She likes it quite a bit, but I don't. Were they for crabs? Okay, nice. Sounds like 11 years old. Mike was living his ass off. Absolutely, dude. So here's, if you don't know, you guys have heard my story, I think. One of the things I'll say is, like, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. Well, I absolutely know what it's like to do it wrong. Because at 12 years old, I was living the dream. And then I moved to California, and I found cocaine. And there was no more important thing in my life than that. And that's what we refer to as doing it wrong. Yes, there's the whole felony thing. But more importantly, really, there's the whole emotional bankruptcy thing. And self-loathing that comes along with it. And that, my friends, is doing it wrong. Very, very wrong. Sarah, you had pots, 2 of them. That's so cool. I wonder why. Did you have to have that many? Was there a minimum? I don't even remember. I think you only had to have one. Oh, you guys, you know what's so funny? So around the time that I had mine, you probably did this too, Sarah, but so I applied for my, my lobster pot license, right? So I had my fishing license effectively, but for lobsters. And then what you do is you take buoys, the things that like float up in the string, the line goes all the way down to the lobster pot. And then you paint some sort of individual design, like you do, like you just kind of look around in the harbor and you're like, okay, that guy's a red X, that guy has a red question mark, okay, I'll use a red exclamation point or something like that. But the point is that, you put a circle or a dot or 3 circles or like a stripe with like a blue in the blue. So anyway, and you choose your own color. So I did that. But the other thing you're supposed to do at the time was engrave the last 4 numbers of your social security number into the lobster pot. And effectively, you just kind of do it with a soldering iron. The lobster pot's just styrofoam, so the minute you like touch it into, it kind of just like carves it out. Ed, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. I love crabbing up here. Dungeness crab. You like that, huh? Yeah, I've never, the taste has just never done it for me. Been there myself. Yeah, absolutely. I've done that too. For 3 days straight. Ended up in the well, it wasn't really an emergency in my mind, but I ended up in a room of emergency. I burned a hole in my trachea. I was doing so much, and so when you would touch my chest, it would go. It's called subcutaneous emphysema. So instead of when you breathe, it goes into your lungs, some of it go into your chest cavity, and so therefore you get this. That didn't stop me though. Wasn't ready. I wasn't done yet. But thank God I got done a while ago. 15 thumbs up. Thank you guys so much. 20 of you watching. And I'm going to call that wildly successful. Thumbs up, everybody. Sorry, Stock. Stole your thunder. All good here. How are you? They were in my dad's name. I was a kid. I think Dad did like a candy cane. Yeah. Is this, I don't know if that's still the case, but I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. It was really neat. And I remember, like, I would try. You know what I would do, Sarah? Is I would drive. Me and my buddies, we would drive the boat up to the Charles River, and then we would go through the locks. And what happens in locks is that when fish get in there, and then they basically turn the pumps on and off, or they lower or raise the water, the fish get inside the pumps and they die. And so there's all these dead fish that would float around. And I would go in there and be like, oh my God, this is like free bait. And I would just like scoop up all these fish, throw them in a, well, I don't know if we had Home Depot Homer buckets back then, but basically a bucket of that type. Throw the dead fish in there, and then drive to my lobster pots, and then put them like in a net, and then like tie them to the inside of the lobster pot, and then go fishing for that. But every now and then I wouldn't get a chance to get in there, and I wouldn't have any bait basically. So what I would do is I would take a can of tuna fish, and I would poke the top and bottom of it with a screwdriver, and then tie that inside and put that in there, and that would attract them. So interesting little tricks of the trade, right? And of course I learned all this stuff from guys that were, they would do that for a living. And if you were just like a little kid like me and you only had, they would be like, this is their livelihood, right? And so they were like, okay, well, you've only got 2, so they would kind of like give me some tips or whatever. But I'm quite certain if I had more than 10, they'd be like, yeah, you're taking money out of my pocket, young man. Not happening. Our boat hated going into Boston. I only had a 13-foot whaler. It actually wasn't that bad. I've had my share of gratitude attacks like in 2013 in KLL. KLL or KUL? I don't know what KLL is. Glad you are going normal. Yeah, so far so good. Right on, Mitch. I'm living my Thailand dreams vicariously through Mike, Jeremy, and Joe. That's pretty cool. I was bummed. I was sort of saddened. I saw Rob do a live stream last night, and he was just sort of a check-in and stuff. And basically, he was like, "Yeah, it's been raining here like crazy, and so I can't go out, so I can't really make any videos for you guys." And jokingly, I put a note on there. I said, "Well, when in doubt, dude, do a live stream. Just ask me." Anyway, so I wanted to check in. We're only at 49 minutes, and again, it's a short one for me. But I'm gonna hop on the motorbike and I'm gonna cruise down. I've tried the whole motorbike live stream thing in Samui. I don't believe it worked well. Even though, let me just say, I really appreciate you guys like being beta testers through all of my technical testing, basically. It's fun for me, and hopefully the result isn't too detrimental. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'll turn this around and I'll give you guys a view of basically what was available to me for $35.12 last night. And with that, I will say, hey, I hope you guys are living the dream. It is Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com. If you are not living the dream, then there's a high likelihood that at least you have not found someone who hopefully you connect with to potentially live vicariously through. Because again, don't forget, I mean, I did that before I got here too. And now I just get to do it and I get to hang out with you guys. So thank you guys for keeping me sane, as I've always said. And I hope you have an amazing day. And if I can do anything to help, let me know. LiveMyAssOff@gmail.com. I'll probably check in later today. Live the dream, guys. Peace.